Every year we witness a number of devastating natural disasters in our world, including hurricanes and floods and tornadoes and wildfires. And so I did a search for the top natural disasters of 2016 for my sermon this morning, and this is what the top 5 look like. So number 5 is Typhoon Lion Rock in North Korea. The typhoon killed 130 people and destroyed 30,000 homes and affected 600,000 people. Number 4 was the flooding that took place in China, killing 200 people, destroying 700,000 acres of crops, and displacing millions of people. Number 3 on the list was a 6.2 earthquake in Italy that leveled an entire town of 2,700 people, killing 247 of those people. And number 2 was another earthquake, a 7.8 earthquake in Ecuador that leveled several cities, killing 300 people and injuring thousands and thousands of people. And the number 1 natural disaster of 2016 was Hurricane Matthew that swept across the Caribbean and up the east coast of the United States. Hurricane Matthew left thousands of people dead, mostly in Haiti because of their poor infrastructure. But when it reached the United States, it killed 48 people and did $1.5 billion in North Carolina alone. Natural disasters remind us that everything in our world is temporary. We're not guaranteed a tomorrow. What we have today may be gone tomorrow. Yet our culture spends a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money trying to convince us that we need more, we need bigger stuff, we need better stuff. Which got me to thinking about the Super Bowl coming up next weekend. Did you know in 1967, at the very first Super Bowl, a 30-second TV ad was just a measly $42,000. Just a chip in the bucket. Next week, for Super Bowl, whatever it is, 52 or 50 something, it will be $5 million for that same 30 seconds. Or look at it this way, $166,000 per second. Per second. Of TV ads that what they will do is try to convince us. We'll put an image in our minds, which hopefully will go into our hearts and into our souls of stuff that we need, or places that we need to go, or things we need to buy. In our text for today, from Luke's Gospel, the 12th chapter, Jesus reminds us that life does not consist in the abundance of possession. And he tells us a parable this morning about a man who tries to convince his soul that it does. That it does. So if you will, open your Bibles up to Luke chapter 12 or pull that up on your phone app. It's available for you as well on our screen. Chapter 12, Luke's Gospel, beginning with verse 13. Hear the word of the Lord. Someone in the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the family inheritance with me." But he said to him, "Friend, who set me to be judge and arbitrator over you?" And he said to them, "Take care Be on your guard against all kinds of greed, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of possessions. Then he told them a parable. The land of a rich man produced abundantly. And he thought to himself, what should I do? For I have no place to store my crops. Then he said, I will do this. I will pull down my barns and will build bigger ones. And there I will store all my grain and my goods. And I will say to my soul, soul, you have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, be merry. But God said to him, you fool, this very night your life is being demanded of you. And the things you have prepared, whose will they be? So it is with those who store up treasures for themselves, but are not rich toward God. The Word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. Let me remind you of something I said several weeks ago. That the soul is the only part of you that goes on living. And I quoted Dallas Willard a while back saying, you are an unceasing spiritual being with an eternal destiny in God's great universe. Your soul is not just something that lives on after the body dies. Your soul is the most important part of you. Your soul is your life. It's your very life. It is who you are. The rich man in Jesus' parable this morning is repeating what his soul longs for. Your soul controls your mind. Your mind controls your action. The rich man said, I will say to my soul, you have ample goods stored up for many years. Let me ask you a question this morning. How is it with your soul? What does your soul long for? What would you say to your soul if you were to go ahead and answer this question? If you were to say to your soul, soul, you have. Soul, you are. In his book, Enough, Adam Hamilton says that we struggle with this disease called restless heart syndrome. And its primary symptom is discontent. We find that we are never satisfied with anything. The moment we acquire something, we scarcely take time to enjoy it before we automatically want something else. It could be an array of different things. iPhones, for one, are one of those things that even though your phone still works and it's doing good, you have to have the new one that comes out. You know, it could be the newest fashion. It could be the newest car on the market. It could be this or it could be that. We're just never satisfied with what we have. We are perennially discontent. But the fact is, we will always be discontent with material things. Because we're created in the image of God. And in that image, we thrive. We thrive when we totally commit ourselves to God. Our souls to God. God alone is the only one who can fully satisfy the human soul. We can build barn after barn, and we can fill them with all the stuff that we can possibly accumulate in our lifetime. Stuff that we think that we need, or stuff that gives us short-term satisfaction. But in the end, we are never content with more stuff. Like the rich man in Jesus' parable, which is known as the rich fool. We say to our soul, soul, you are content with a mediocre prayer life, says 64% of American Christians. We say to ourselves, so you are content with being a one-a-month Sunday Christian or less, says 63% of American Christians. Or we say to ourselves, so you are content giving 2% of your income back to God, which touches 80% of American Christians. Or we say, so you are content only to read the Bible once or twice a month, which describes 55% of American Christians. And the list could go on. I could keep going. In other words, we are content being nominal Christians. We are content being mediocre Christians. We are content being part-time Christians. We are content being so-called Christians. However you want to change that word up to fit who we are. This is what we're saying to our soul that we are content with, but these are the things that we should be discontent with. Remember, our soul is our life, and the only part of us that continues to live after the body dies. So how do we reverse this process, this problem that American Christians have, where we will be discontent with our spiritual lives and therefore strive to better them, to grow deeper in our faith, all the while cultivating an attitude of contentment for the material things that we have, by simplifying our lifestyle. The writer of Hebrews, in the 13th chapter, verses 5 and 6 says, keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have. For he has said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So we can say with confidence, the Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. The Apostle Paul said in Philippians, the 4th chapter, Paul said, I have learned to be content with whatever I have. I know what it is to have little, and I know what it is to have plenty. In any and all circumstances, I have learned the secret of being well-fed and going hungry, of having plenty, and of being in need. And then he goes on and says, for I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Amen. You know, that sounds real good and everything. But when Paul wrote these words, he was in prison in Rome, waiting to hear word whether he would be executed or not. Which adds a ton of meaning to those simple words. In his book, Adam Hamilton gives several keys, several key ways that we can cultivate contentment in our lives, but I only have enough time for one this morning. One in particular, as I read his book, it really jumped out at me. We need to develop grateful hearts. You know, contentment comes by developing a grateful heart. A grateful heart recognizes that all of life is a gift. Contentment comes when we spend more time giving thanks to God for what we have instead of thinking about what we don't have or belly aching about what we don't have or complaining about what is wrong in our life. My brother got a bigger steak than me. But you know, after eating that steak, I was full. I didn't need any more. But we're just so accustomed of looking at what others have and we want it. As the richest country in the world, we really do have a lot to be thankful for. A lot to be thankful for. And we need to learn to be content. When you came in, I hope you got one of these little key tags this morning. If you didn't, pick one up on your way out. Just a little reminder for us to be content, for us to be grateful for what God has given to us. Did you know what we call poverty in the United States, in the rest of the world calls living an average lifestyle? And in some places in the world, they would love to live in American poverty. They would love it. The rich man's problem was life was all about him. If you noticed in the scripture, in verses 17 through 19, in this 12th chapter of Luke, it was all about him. All about his life, all about fulfilling his desires, all about fulfilling his needs. God blessed him tremendously in these verses. And 11 times, I counted them, 11 times, he refers to himself and what he has done and what he has. Not one time did he mention the good Lord and how the good Lord provided the soil and how the good Lord provided the seed and how the good Lord provided the rain and the sunshine and the workers who made the harvest and the builders who built the barns to store his crops. Not one time. It was all about him and what I have. Jesus said in verse 15, take care. Be on your guard against all kinds of greed, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of possession. Did you know this is the only parable in Luke's gospel where God addresses one of the And what does God say? You fool. You fool. Because we will never be content outside of our relationship with God. We will never be content outside of our relationship with God. Amen. Matthew 22, verse 37 and verse 39, Jesus picks out two things that we need to remember. Two of the most important things that we are to do. He says what we need to do is to love the Lord our God with all of our heart and with all of our soul and with all of our might. And then we need to love our neighbor as ourselves. And Jesus says if we keep our focus on those two things, then we'll find satisfaction in life, we'll have contentment in life and for our soul. You know, each time I watch the news and they interview people who have gone through one of these natural disasters, where their homes are destroyed, they've lost loved ones, their lives have been turned upside down. What people grieve the most over is the family that they lost. Their friends, their neighbors, their children, their parents, their grandparents. Sometimes when they're interviewed, they're in tears because they lost pictures of their loved ones that have already passed away. And they need that reminder, they need that memory. Never have I seen one where a guy said, I lost my car, it was in the garage, or I lost my boat, or I lost my motor home, or I lost my storage building full of stuff. Now, sometimes they'll say, I lost my whole home because now they're homeless. And they realize how blessed they were. But it's people, it's soul. It's our soul. The whole reason that Jesus told this parable in verse 13 is because two brothers are arguing. That's the way it started out in verse 13. Two brothers are arguing over the estate. Our brother's not sharing the estate with me the way I think it should be shared with me. That's what they're arguing over. Greed is what Jesus points out the problem. Greed. The desire for material wealth separated this family from each other. Not to mention their souls from God. You know, material wealth can be replaced, but family cannot. And the soul, well, the soul goes on living forever. How is it with your soul? If you said to your soul, "Soul, you have," what would you say? How would you finish the sentence? How do you feed your soul? For your soul's sake. Jesus hoped you would say, "I have many riches toward God. I have many riches laid up in heaven." So, you have a godly heritage. So you have a godly church. So you have godly friends. You have a godly family. You have a godly place where you can come and be filled. Riches for God. That's right. Generous God, we give you thanks. We give you thanks for all that we have, all that we will be given. It is our prayer today that you will help us to be thankful and to use all those gifts, those blessings, in a way that glorifies you. Help us to feed our souls with good, nourishing things, O God. That we might gain weight in the faith and be a blessing to you. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.